everyone, welcome to another episode of Is This Legal? My name is Russell Hebets and I am here in the Is This Legal studio with my law partner and podcaster extraordinaire, Colin McCallin.
Man, that's an enthusiastic intro. You seem like you're in a good mood today.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about some grisly murder.
Yeah, like some dismemberment.
Alleged.
Yeah. Like we're gonna get downright nasty with this one, right, Russ?
We are. So I mean, let's just jump right into it. Is the sun is setting earlier and earlier. Actually, I heard it's going to start setting later. Like even though the winter solstice isn't till the 21st, someone told me that today or tomorrow is the earliest the sun's going to set, and it's going to start setting later.
Wouldn't that make that the solstice then now?
I really didn't look into it. And this person I talked to could be just full of crap.
I'm not Galileo, my name is Johannes Kepler, but it does seem to me that the days are going to keep getting shorter until the solstice. I thought that was always the shortest day of the year.
His argument was, he didn't say it was the shortest. So like in the morning, it could be still getting shorter.
Oh.
Right? He was talking specifically about sunset.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Not sunrise. So maybe both can be happening at the same time.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, I never finished that astrology.
You were going to say astrology.
I was going to say astrology.
Astronomy is a study of the heavenly bodies. The astrology is like horoscope and stuff, like that.
Super quick, like aside.
Yeah.
In college, I took the history of astronomy, and fascinating class. I really liked it. We had to do this big term paper at the end, and I emailed my professor my topic, and it was like mistakes, a series of mishaps in the series, and I put a history of astrology. He started calling my dorm room. he was like, "This is not going to work at all. This is not an appropriate topic." It was pretty funny. I straightened it out though.
Yeah, I mean, astrology is a whole other discipline that we could probably spend hours on, but let's not.
Let's instead talk about Brian and Anna Walshe.
Yeah.
So
this is a part two-er, Russ.
This is part two-er, going all the way back to episode 88.
Yeah.
So we're reaching deep into the vault.
Almost 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Russ.
Coming up on 3 years.
Yeah,
just under 3 years or 2 years, 11 months and change ago.
So you listeners should be, you know the drill by now. If you don't know about this, you might want to go back and check out episode 88 because we covered this case when it was brand new and talk about everything that was happening when he was first arrested. Now, Russ, we have come all the way to jury trial.
Finally.
Yes.
Like these cases, they take a while to get there.
They do.
A lot of continuances, a lot of evidence. So we're finally there. So Brian Walshe is currently on trial for the murder of his wife, Anna Walshe. Super quick recap, just like 30-second version. January 1st, 2023, Anna Walshe disappears. 3 days later, her employer calls her in as missing. Brian Walshe, her husband, calls her in after work does as missing. They do an investigation. The body was never found, but they found a bunch of incriminating things that pointed towards Brian Walshe as a murderer.
That's exactly right, Russ. And we talked about that evidence. First of all, the police, I think, were very suspicious of Brian from the very beginning. Because, he was basically saying that she went on this trip. She had to unexpectedly take this business trip and basically disappeared without any notice. And remember, what Russ said was important initially. Brian wasn't the one who reported her missing.
Right.
She was reported missing by coworkers. Brian never said anything about, where she was going or anything like that.
He's just kept his mouth shut.
Right.
Police investigated it. They never found any flight log with her checked in. They never found any ride shares that she took. So she basically disappeared off the face of the earth. Sometime she was last seen like early morning hours of January 1st, 2023.
Right. And so in terms of why the police investigation turned toward Brian Walshe, a lot of the statements that he was making about what happened just weren't adding up. In terms of both the timeline about what was going on with their relationship, as well as the details regarding her trip.
And also, let's be honest. Anytime a domestic partner goes missing or is killed, the other remaining domestic partner is immediately suspect number one.
It's always the husband, right? I think we've heard that phrase many, many times.
Or the wife.
Right.
Like maybe feeding someone a fentanyl sandwich, if you will.
Yeah, Corey Richens talking to you out there. We knew this looked very bad because the deep dive in the investigation started revealing a lot of very troubling information. First of all, it showed that Mr. Walshe had making trips to various dumpster locations.
Yeah.
And to be clear, they have never recovered Anna Walsh's body to this day, but they did recover some items that had her DNA on them.
Yes, and items that were stained kind of a reddish brown.
Yeah, and what items you might be asking about? Well, let's see if this sounds nefarious to you. How about a hacksaw? How about a hatchet? Cordage, different...
A Tyvek suit.
Yeah, a Tyvek suit.
Which is those like hazmat suits, essentially.
On the last episode, I think we called it the Breaking Bad suit. Hopefully that reference still stands.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a couple years later. I mean, and it had Miss Walsh's blood on her. And so none of this is looking good.
Or
Obviously,
at least her DNA.
Yeah, she hasn't turned up anywhere. This trip that she is alleged to have taken, she was never on the plane. There was never any evidence that she actually went where Mr. Walshe said. Then they start digging into the searches that Mr. Walshe had been using his son's iPad for. Russ, let's talk about some of these searches.
Allegedly again.
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah, he's on trial. He's innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, and we'll tell you guys, his defense has changed significantly. Like initially when they did this investigation, and as far as we can tell, as far as the police were concerned, up until very close to the start of this trial, which just started on December 1st with opening statements, he still was alleging, hey, I have no idea what happened. That changed.
Yes, it did.
Right.
So this is new information that we definitely did not cover the first time around because this just happened within the last couple weeks. So Mr. Walshe was originally charged with 3 counts. First of all, he's charged with murder of his wife, murder of Anna Walshe. He's pled not guilty, and he's on trial for that count.
Right.
But he's also charged with counts 2 and 3. Those violations are called. Count 2 is he's accused of willfully conveying a human body in violation of state law, and then count 3 is misleading the police. Russ, on November 18th, during jury selection of this case, he changed his pleas from not guilty to guilty for both of those 2 counts. All right? So what he's saying, I am guilty of willfully conveying a human body in violation of this statute. So let's break that down a second just so everybody's crystal clear on what we're talking about. Remember, when Brian Walshe was first interviewed by the police, he was adamant that his wife went on a business trip, that everything was on the up and up. He kept making statements over days of interviews, Russ, like, I just want to get my wife back. I just want to know what happened to her. Well, now, Russ, in his defense attorney's opening statement, he's now, the attorney for Mr. Walshe is saying that Mr. Walshe actually knew on New Year's morning that his wife was dead.
He's admitting to everything except murder.
Right. He's saying, you know what, I went down to the kitchen to clean the kitchen. I came up and my wife wasn't moving. Something seemed off. I tried to nudge her. She fell off the bed and I realized she was dead.
That's a big nudge. Nudged her right up. Honey, wake up.
I'm dead. Yeah. Seen it 1,000 times, right? You got to be careful of those nudges.
Right.
Joking aside for a second, he's basically now saying, no, he knew that she was dead, but at the time, in terms of, it's very confusing because the defense attorney didn't go so far as to say that Mr. Walshe then dismembered his wife's body and scattered her remains over the course of various dumpster sites.
That's clearly the implication.
That's the implication, though. He's basically saying, well, he panicked because he was facing a sentencing in an art fraud case. Remember that?
Right, from episode 88. Federal fraud, art fraud, where he was basically taking Andy Warhol's doing knockoffs of them. He actually kind of stole them from someone and then sold that and then created copies and sold those, defrauding people, saying they were Andy Warhol's. So he was getting sentenced on that right when all of this was happening.
Can we talk about that just for a second? I mean, Russ, we've got an accused murderer here who's also dabbling into art forgery. I mean, this is
He's a Renaissance man, Colin. He's got his fingers in a lot of pies.
He's not. This isn't garden variety shoplifter here. No, this is like art fraud dealing. Like this is like
So,
anyway,
so let's get back to kind of where we were before. So they totally changed. Like the DA, I'm sure, was like, "What the heck is going on?"
Right.
Like, I have no idea now what your theory of the case is.
Right, but I mean, to be clear, he's essentially saying, yep, I knew she was dead. Yep, I lied to the police because he pled guilty to that too. He's like, yep, I lied about everything. And again, the motive for why he's apparently doing this is he was worried about the welfare of their 3 sons. Remember, the Walshes have 3 kids. Yeah.
Well, and he panicked, and
he thought this looks terrible for me.
Right.
So I'm just.
Cops aren't going to believe me.
Yeah.
Cops aren't going to believe me.
That she just dropped dead.
That she just dropped dead, and so I better just get rid of the evidence because otherwise they're not going to believe me, and I'm going to be an innocent man who's going to be on trial for the murder of his wife. Oh, how'd that work out, Brian?
No, Russ. Let's talk about this because I'm sure. I can almost see the eyebrows of our listeners being raised when they hear this defense. Like, how is this going to work? What choice does the defense attorney have in representing Mr. Walshe, given the evidence here? Why is he doing this? Why not just continue to maintain your innocence with all of these counts and say, hey, they can't prove anything?
So I will tell you what you started to mention, and then I derailed you, but was his searches. Right?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about those.
Because the law enforcement, they did searches on his phone, on this iPad, on his computer, and they found a bunch of really incriminating and damning searches.
What are some examples? I mean, top 10 ways to dispose of a human body.
Yeah. What does bleach do to a human body?
Right.
How long before a human body starts smelling?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So here's why this defense actually just completely undercuts, if it's to be believed, the problem with those statements. Because he's saying, yeah, I did make all those searches, not because I killed her. Like, notice the searches weren't how to kill someone with bleach. It was all related to the body.
Getting rid of a body.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's saying, hey, I'm just getting rid of this body. I didn't kill her. And now all of a sudden, all those searches that they have, those can reconcile with his current defense.
Right.
Now, they can't all reconcile, though. And there's a couple of searches that he made that are problematic for him. Do we want to get into like the
sure.
the prosecution? So
yeah,
prosecution. Let's talk the prosecution's argument, right? Prosecution's argument is, hey, doesn't take a brain surgeon, doesn't take a rocket scientist. Sometimes if it quacks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it's not an aardvark.
Yeah.
It's a duck.
And in this case, the duck is a murderer.
Right. Exactly.
Which admittedly is a rare species of duck. We're all familiar with mallards and drakes, but the murderer duck, that's kind of a rare one.
Only found on Tasmania, I'm pretty sure.
or Greater Boston.
Or Greater Boston.
No, I get it.
So they're basically saying, listen, this guy didn't report it. He lied to the police. By all indications, he dismembered her body. He went to Home Depot. He bought $450 worth of the Tyvek suit, cleaning supplies.
Bleach, hatchets, all that stuff.
He visited all these dumpsters. There's her DNA. There's the Tyvek suit. There's black or red stained things. So even without a body,
lots of damning circumstantial evidence is what we call that.
A mountain of damning circumstantial evidence, right? And that's what happened. And it's a simple prosecution. Like, it doesn't take a really complicated diagnosis of what may have happened here. It is very straightforward. What they're saying is he just killed her. He then disposed of her, and he's trying to get away with murder, and don't let him get away with murder.
Right. Now, the defense, I guess.
So wait, so the statements, right? Because that's part of their case. All these statements he made, or all these searches, not the statements.
Right.
Statements too, right? Saying I didn't know anything about it, which clearly are lying, and he's admitted to it. But the searches, there were a couple of searches that actually didn't have to do with disposing a body that are hugely problematic for him. And the two that I saw that jumped out to me are how long for someone to be missing before you can get an inheritance.
Oh, well, what's the other one? Then I'll talk about that.
The other one is best divorce strategy for men.
Oh, man. You know, I've recently seen some family law websites, Russ, about divorce strategies. I never saw murder on any of those websites.
It's not a good strategy.
Yeah, not a good strategy at all.
It's a poor strategy.
Yeah, it's a poor legal strategy. But coming back to what you said about the missing inheritance, well, here's some new information that we didn't have on episode 88, Russ. Turns out that Anna Walshe had a life insurance policy.
A big one.
Where Brian Walshe was the sole beneficiary for $1 million.
I saw 2.7 million.
Maybe there were other ones. Okay.
Maybe she had two. I mean, in any case,
I'll take your word for it.
Millions.
Yeah, but it was a lot of money. And again, you know that Mr. Walshe was kind of up against it. He's dealing with this criminal prosecution related to his art dealings.
Yep.
So, you know, money was probably, it's always a motivator, right?
Here's more new information. Anna Walshe was having an affair. Oh, it gets more sordid.
Yeah, this is becoming more and more like a Hallmark movie every single time we talk about it. I swear to God. But a Hallmark movie involving murder, right. Of course, like rated R Hallmark.
I'm not sure you know what Hallmark movies are like because they're not like this.
Right, it's
more like
not going to be on Hallmark.
A teen drama.
Is your super quick? Is it Hallmark season in your household like it is mine?
No, we kind of never watch Hallmark movies.
My wife kind of goes in like a 6-week hibernation mode where it's just Hallmark
Always
movie
on.
after Hallmark movie, kind of starting right around now.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of like it coincides with
congratulations.
pumpkin spice season with Starbucks. So, so yeah, that's going on with us right now. But yeah, you're right. I didn't see any axe murdering
No.
movies on Hallmark. But yes. Anna Walshe was having an affair. In fact, her paramour just testified in the trial on day 4 yesterday, Russ. One point of contention that the defense seems to be raising is they seem to deny that Brian Walshe actually had any notice of this affair.
Okay.
Brian Walshe knew this person, like he was known to him. It was kind of a coworker situation. That way Anna had, I guess, described this person to Brian Walshe, but according to the defense, they did not know, or Brian did not know that Anna was having an affair. Now, of course, the prosecution is disputing that,
right.
Because it plays right into their motive, along with the financial motive.
Sure.
So they're trying to present some evidence that Brian Walshe did know. But yeah, this guy testified. He testified that they had been romantically involved for several months. That they were making plans to see each other, and that the last communication that the paramour had received from Anna Walshe was on New Year's Eve, wishing him a happy New Year's. That was it.
Okay, yeah. So now we have the definite and possible motive of the life insurance policy and a potential jealousy motive. So before we get into what is the defense to do with this, right? Because it's looking bad, let's go ahead and take a break for the people out there and play Is This Legal?
I think that is a lovely idea, Russ. Let's do it. We'll be right back. Good listener, are you ready to play Is This Legal?
Let's do it.
Oh, yes.
All right, so as per the norm,
Yeah, what's this segment all about, Russ?
this is back to Jebediah. He is cruising along the road in his shiny new moto car one fine day. However, and he's sober and he's not hauling moonshine.
Good. Okay.
Like, everything looking good so far. Except while he was trying to change his 8-track in his car. He was,
8-track?
8-track.
So the moto car
Moto
in
car
question
had brand
came
new-
standard with an 8-track.
Standard with 8-track.
Well,
yeah.
you know, we know the kids like the retro these days, you know, so.
He takes his eyes off the road when he's doing it, though, and rear ends jumping Jehoshaphat, who was stopped in front of him.
Okay.
Now, they both exit the car, and they're both fine. There's no injuries. There's very minor damage to Jumpin's car. Jebediah's car is fine. They basically exchange insurance information, exchange phone numbers, and they say, all right, well, I think this is good enough. We'll make the claims. Let's each go on our way.
Sounds great.
Sounds great. And it was for about a week.
Okay.
But then, Jumpin was just thinking about it, probably talking to the wrong people.
Right.
And
He does do that.
He does do that. And basically he says, you know what? I'm thinking, maybe he's thinking he's going to go for a personal injury claim, but he says, I think I need to report this.
Okay.
So he calls Officer Cornelius, and he says, hey, we had this accident. You may want to go talk to Jebediah about it. And so Cornelius does. He goes there, and he drives out to Jebediah's shack, and he pulls up, and he promptly issues Jebediah a citation for failure to report an accident. For leaving the scene of an accident and failure to report.
Okay.
A property damage accident. Jebediah immediately protests, and he explains that the accident didn't result in injury, that they both agreed to leave the scene, and it didn't need to be reported. Cornelius smiles and says, you can go ahead and tell it to the judge, Jebediah.
Okay. Dang,
So
cruel.
Yeah.
He probably had a big smile on his face when he said that, too.
He smiled, yeah.
Was there an issue with the insurance?
Nope, everything was fine.
It wasn't lapsed or anything like that?
Yep, so
Okay.
Jebediah goes to court, and he makes the argument in front of the judge that, hey, judge, there was an agreement. We exchanged information. No harm, no foul. Please dismiss this.
Okay.
What is the judge to do? I mean, you look like a judge.
You do too. looks like we walked into the right room today.
What would you do?
I first want to talk about the 8-track, just quickly. I mean, because, I've noticed, Russ, that, in the digital age, there's a trend toward like record players and even tape cassettes and stuff like that.
Stick it to the man.
I mean, number one, this is just a rhetorical question for you listener. How many of you listening, I'll bet you're in your car. I'll bet you are. Do you have a CD player in your car? And when was the last time you had a car with a CD player? It's been about 5 years for me, Russ. And I've got all these CDs that I still have. Harold Dubinsky, if you listen, he always gives me all these bootlegs and stuff. I've got a huge stack of them, but I don't listen to them. Yeah. And maybe we need to go back, Russ. Maybe we need to go back to cars where we can say, you know what, if I want to listen to a vinyl record in my car, we can do that.
I'm on board.
Seems like we have the technology.
Let's get some record players on the car.
Yeah.
Let's get away from digital.
Yeah, that's what I
it.
say. Let's go retro.
Yeah, I like it. I'm in.
Enough about that. I guess it has nothing to do with the answer to this question, but we've definitely given, I think, people enough time to think about their answer here, right?
I think so. What's the answer, Colin?
Okay. So does Jebediah prevail with his argument? No, he does not, Russ.
Sorry, Jebediah.
That's a loss for Jebediah. He is guilty of leaving the scene of an accident without reporting it. Yeah. This is something that Russ and I decided to talk about because I actually do think there is some confusion in the general public about what you're required to do if you are in an accident. Yeah. Especially like if it's snowy and there's a lot of accidents, what do you have to do? Generally speaking, I mean, if it's like a love tap situation where there's no damage, yeah, you don't need to report that. Right. If everything looks good and the parties agree, just you're out of there. But if there is damage, you do need to report this accident. You need to call the police, at least make a report. The worst thing, if you're in a hurry, you want to report it later that day, you just have to report it, and failure to do so is a problem.
Yeah, and basically, pretty much every statute, I mean, check the statute in your area, but pretty much every state is going to have a statute that says you have to report a property damage accident.
Exactly.
And like any other crime, you can't just agree to circumvent a crime, to not report a crime. There's no affirmative defense where, everyone agreed, so we don't have to report, like if it's an assault, right?
Jumpin' Jehoshaphat's willingness to not call the police at that day is not relevant to this analysis. It really doesn't matter because it's not an intentional crime. You have to report this. It's a duty you have, and if you don't, you're violating.
Yeah, so there it is. So just comply, or else make sure you agree with someone more trustworthy than Jumpin' Jehoshaphat.
Yeah, I mean, again, always run into the police.
I know, right? He's always dropping dimes on them. Like,
yeah.
Jumpin'
I don't like that
no
guy,
good.
and yet I feel like he is a necessary character to illustrate this legal.
We don't want to kill him off.
No.
You jump in, you're safe.
Maybe we should make this more interactive with our audience. But do you want to see do we want Jebediah to get a new girlfriend? Do we want Cornelius to get a promotion?
I think people want to see more of Ezekiel.
We haven't done Ezekiel in a long time.
Long time.
All right. Good old Zeke?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough Is This Legal? Let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Hope you did okay at home. We'll see you next time, right back here on Is This Legal? All right, welcome back to the show. Hope you did okay on Is This Legal? So, we talked about the overwhelming evidence that the prosecution has, and there's no other way to describe it. They've got a lot of stuff here. So the defense, as we mentioned, they've really kind of shift strategies. And we saw this on November 18th on the change of plea, where now they're openly admitting that he willfully conveyed her body.
Right.
Again, we haven't heard any direct admission that he cut up her body and packaged it up and threw away the pieces, but apparently that's what we're going to be hearing about. Why would he do this, Russ, and why would he continue to indicate that he is not guilty on the murder case? We teased this a little bit, but let's round it out a little bit more. What's the strategy here?
Yeah, I mean, the strategy is essentially you work with what you have, right? You admit what you have to admit, and you deny what you can't admit, right? And so in this case, he's got all these searches. They were clearly done by him. You're not going to make the argument my 6-year-old was doing searches on how to dismember and dispose of a body.
Right.
So they have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And the way to deal with that is to say, yep, I did that. I did that, but that does not mean that I committed murder. And the fact that I pled guilty to those things, to misleading a police officer and illegal conveyance of a body, that I pled guilty to that gives me credibility because I'm admitting when I'm doing something wrong, but when it's something I didn't do, I'm not admitting it, and I want you to find me guilty of what I'm guilty of, which I pled to. Don't find me guilty of what I didn't. And I want to just touch on those two other charges that we talked about. Those are not like Mickey Mouse charges with Mickey Mouse penalties. The misleading police has a maximum of up to 10 years if it relates to a normal crime, if it relates to murder in the first degree or a life sentence, which we're talking about here. So if he's convicted, carries up to 20 years. So that's a high max. For the improperly disposing of a body, max 3 years. So he can get up there and say, I'm exposing myself to significant criminal liability here, and it's because it's what I did.
Right.
Right?
I understand this strategy, Russ. I mean, it simplifies things a little bit. First of all, the defense strategy still requires the district attorney to prove what happened to Anna Walshe.
To prove murder.
They still have to prove a murder. He by saying, look, she was alive 1 minute and then she was dead the next minute, well, they don't have a body. Remember, this is a circumstantial case, so we don't have an autopsy to be able to configure, to determine the exact manner of death and time of death. So the only evidence, but frankly, he's arguing that the only reliable evidence on that point came from him.
Right.
All right. Now, obviously, there's problems with this. There's huge problems with this, Russ. I mean, first of all, he is lying essentially to the police for the days in the beginning of the investigation, and we know flat out that he was lying over and over and over again to the police over the course of days because he kept saying, my wife is missing, my wife is missing, I don't know where she is.
Yeah, and he's saying, yep.
So do you believe him then or do you believe him now? That's one of the dilemmas.
Panicked. My wife just died. I thought I was going to get blamed for it. I was trying to save my children the heartache of seeing their mom. And yep, I made a mistake and I admitted to it, and that's why I pled guilty to misleading the police.
So, Russ, my thoughts on this, this is me kind of playing armchair quarterback on this. I understand the defense strategy. I don't agree with it. Because it's so far-fetched. It's so unrealistic.
Strange.
My wife died, so I dismembered her and covered it up and lied to the police, and even though I had nothing to do with killing her. I mean, I understand that by arguing that point, you put the onus back on the prosecutor to prove what happened. But I think I like the idea of just pleading not guilty to everything, letting the jury sort it out. I don't know if he's going to have success either way here. I mean,
Right.
really, the evidence really is quite strong here. This is a case where I would be absolutely shocked if he was acquitted.
Yeah, I mean, here's what, he can make the same argument in either scenario, right? Whether you're denying everything or you're saying, yep, I did cover everything up, but I didn't kill her. And, well, it's slightly different. But ultimately, the prosecution's problems are there's no body, like we talked about, there's no murder weapon, there's no even guess as to how this murder happened, and there's no evidence of any violence, right? There's not, you don't have, skin under her fingernails, or you don't have her doing an outcry.
I was going to say, no violence other than the dismemberment part, but that happened after the fact.
Yeah, but again, depending on whether you be pre him pleading to that or post, and who knows what he's going to say, because he's going to have to testify here, right? Do you agree with that? He pled guilty to those counts.
I don't see how he can't, based on what his defense attorney argued, because all of the information, came from Brian.
Yeah.
It was from
the
opening statement was from Brian's
point of view.
And generally speaking, when that's the type of defense you're mounting, you're going to hear from the defendant.
Right. Right.
And he's going to have to get up there to the stand and basically answer questions about why he did what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, Russ. I suppose he's going to have to testify. I don't see that as a win for him at all. All the stuff he's going to have to admit to, all the stuff he's going to have to admit to lying about.
I mean, there's no good out in this case.
No.
I mean, the fact that it's circumstantial, all that's helpful. The fact that there's no body, but ultimately there's just so much circumstantial evidence. And by the way, this guy he's pretty unlikable. Have you seen him? His pictures. He looks unlikable, and apparently right before the jury selection started this year, he got knifed by someone else in the jail. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, he got knifed.
He got shivved?
Okay.
He
got shivved, so they don't like him in custody either, in the jail. They were seeing if they had to continue the trial yet again.
Oh my gosh.
But they found that he was competent to go forward. So, I don't know how he's going to come across when he testifies, but, why not take the moonshot, I say? You basically, in this situation, you can explain away all the bad things, even though it is such an incredible story. The story, if believed, does explain pretty much everything. And it still allows him to say, I didn't murder her. And if he gets up there and he's compelling enough, maybe you get a jury or two to bite off and say, well, I think he probably did it, but where's the proof? Where's the proof? You don't even have proof that a murder was committed. You don't even have proof of how she was killed. How can you convict someone when you don't have any of that information?
I'm going to make a quick Karen Reed reference, because in addition to the similarity between this case and the Karen Reed case, where you had kind of this mysterious death that was unexplained. We didn't have a lot of
Boston area.
Yeah,
again.
well, it's Boston area, and guess what? Guess who the investigator was in this case? Michael Proctor, Russ.
No way.
He was originally assigned this case. To remind our listeners, he was the disgraced investigator
who
made
a
bunch of big errors in the Karen Reed case. He was involved in this case as well. Apparently, he's been endorsed as an expert for the defense, but he's not going to be called by the prosecution in this case. Yeah, and again, I think that's more of a fun fact thing. I don't know if his involvement in this particular case was I don't know if the case is going to hinge on his credibility like it did in Karen Reed.
Right.
But it's just a fun fact. These people, what a small world, right?
Yeah, it is. Here's where the defense can make some points, and it's just little points. Like the prosecution is already arguing that, hey, he knew she was having an affair, and that's why. The defense has scored some points with the lover getting on the stand saying, no, he didn't know anything about it. The defense, I think, said that he was doing these searches prior to January 1st,
Right.
when the evidence came out.
No, they were on that morning.
Yep, early morning on December or January 1st. So like these are little things that it's like death by 1,000 cuts. You know, these can in aggregate put some doubt into the prosecution.
They can, Russ, but I don't know.
There's no way you're getting there. I can see it. I'm saying
prediction time, Russ.
Yeah.
I think it's predictions because we did not make any predictions about this case when it first came.
Yeah.
We should have. I don't know why we didn't. I mean,
I
that's
think
our
that was
business is
maybe-
making way too early predictions.
I was maybe predated that.
But Russ, I'm just going to jump right into it. This guy's going down, and he's going down hard. I mean, this is overwhelming. Spouses, 37-year-old women just don't fall dead under these circumstances and then get dismembered and moved all over Massachusetts.
We don't know. Maybe she had a congenital heart defect.
Then what people do in 99.99999 circumstances of those kind of situations is they call 911 and say, hey, my wife appears to be dead from a congenital heart defect.
So you're saying there's a chance. I hear you loud and clear.
So, I mean, I will say this. If Brian Walshe is acquitted of murder in this case,
Best defense attorney ever.
then I mean, I'm trying to say, do I make a stupid bet with myself that I'll eat my hat, or that I'll
Yes.
What will I do, Russ? Shave my head? I already do that.
Yeah, grow hair.
That's what I'll do. I'll grow hair if he is acquitted. That will happen. What about you, Russ? What's your prediction?
I'm going to say that it's going to be just a real struggle for these jurors. And after, I'm going to say that they're going to stay out for more than 1 hour before coming back guilty.
But not more than 2 hours.
Probably not.
Before coming back guilty.
I mean, I'm saying there's a chance, but still guilty.
Yeah, Mr. Walshe, I'm sorry, but this is not looking good for you. So, interesting trial, pretty grisly, but, that's what you true crime junkies love, right?
Yeah.
This has it all. Affairs, dismemberment, blood, missing bodies.
Bleach.
art fraud, little like Thomas Crown stuff.
You love that movie.
I do love that movie. I think I referenced it last time.
You did.
Have you ever seen that movie, Thomas Crown?
I still have never seen it.
Okay, well, you need to do that in the next 2.5 years.
Yeah, all right.
All right, well, Russ, I think that might be enough for the day. What do you think?
I think so. Well, let's switch to something a little lighter, a little goofier, a little dumber.
It is time for DCOTW,
the Dumb Criminal of the Week.
Yes.
Colin, it's your turn.
It is my turn, and we're going back to Florida, Russ.
Love it.
Yes, it's about darn time, right? And I feel like we've got a good one.
Okay.
So our DCOTW is a fellow by the name of Jesse Berube. And he wanted to, on his holiday wish list, Rust, he wanted to rob a business. And I think he actually got some inspiration on how to commit this crime from our good friend Santa Claus. Allow me to explain. Just 1 week before Christmas in 2017, Florida resident Jesse Berube allegedly attempted to rob a business by sneaking down the chimney of said business to gain entry, Russ.
Wow.
Instead, however, he got stuck in the chimney halfway down, and after being unable to remove himself from said chimney for several hours, was finally forced to call 911 for help. The police came out, they showed up, they cut him free, they got him out of there, after which he was then charged immediately with 1 count of burglary. Russ, they took a mugshot of this guy, and I don't have it here, but it's hilarious because his face is covered in soot,
just black.
He looks like Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins, That's our friend Jesse Berube going down the chimney like Santa Claus. So, Russ, I mean, honestly, the plan, I mean, it's pretty smart, pretty simple. It was honestly brilliant. But I guess, like some of the best plans, in this case, they went up in smoke. Russ, I guess you could say that Jesse's brilliant break-in plan went up in smoke.
I mean, Colin, this gives a whole new meaning to someone dropping in for the holiday.
Oh man! All he had to do was say, "Hey, I was just delivering some presents."
I mean, I
got the date wrong.
I thought you were going to say he was wearing a Santa hat when he did it, which he should have.
He should have been. I mean, at least that would have made the cops laugh.
Right.
Like he probably would have, gotten an extra phone call because of that.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? He may have gotten a few months shaved off his sentence for that.
Right.
Like,
Maybe the cops would have lined up to take pictures with him at the station.
just sitting on his lap.
What do you want, officer? You want a new set of nunchucks or handcuffs? What's on your list? All right, so that's Jesse Burubay. Knuckleheads, Russ, 1 to 5.
I'm going to give him. I'm going to give him 4.5.
I'm going to give him. I think he gets the whole 5 from me because I ask a few questions to myself that maybe he should have asked to himself. Number one,
who can I fit down the chimney?
number one, can I actually? Is this a good way to enter? Can I get myself through here? Am I skinny enough? Number 2, how am I going to get out?
Right. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to go down a chimney. It's another thing, Russ, to go up a chimney.
I mean, depending on the business, maybe you could just walk out the door from the inside, unlock it. But we've had cases, other dumb criminals where it's barred,
right?
And you can't.
I'm assuming entry is barred. Maybe there's security cameras or something. I don't know. It just makes me really wonder what this guy's end game was. So that's why he gets a 5 from me. So 9.5, Jesse. Merry Christmas. That's your present.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, Jesse.
So all right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Would you like to get a hold of us to give us some ideas for a DCOTW for a topic?
We're on all the socials.
Oh man, you can send us a text directly to us. Right there in the podcast description, wherever you get your podcast, you're going to see a little note that says "Send us a text," and it's amazing when you click that button. You can send us a text.
Yeah.
So.
We can't respond.
Yeah, but if you want to send us an email, you can do so. Send it to denvercrimelaw@gmail.com. We'd love your feedback. Want to know what's going on with our listeners, and let us know what's on your mind.
Yeah, give us a review.
So we're hopefully going to get one more episode out before Christmas. So I don't think this is our last episode of the year. We'll see. But we know that you guys are bustling around for the holidays. Hope you guys are enjoying your holiday season. And we will see you guys next time right back here on Is This Legal?
Bye-bye, everyone. Be safe.
Bye-bye.